What's up, y'all? My name is Ethan. Welcome to Splash City. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into it. So today, I am going to do a classic NBA YouTube thing of looking at a Bleacher Report article. They're going to give me some content for now, and I'm just going to read through this. I might do this again if you like it. If this gets good feedback, then I'll, keep doing this for the offseason, and that's easy content, right, for me to be able to produce. So you might see me uploading more often. Hopefully, I can get on a more consistent schedule, because this offseason has been kind of crazy for me. Maybe I'll do another, talk about my life in a, relatively soon. But yeah, with that all out of the way, let's just get into the topic for today. And that is blockbuster NBA trade ideas 1 month before the season tips off. So yeah, the season is about 1 month away. It's under a month now as I'm recording this. And we have 5 trades here of trades that still might happen and could happen prior to the NBA season starting. So let's just get into this. I haven't really looked at these in depth. I scanned it, but I have not really looked at these, super in depth here. So Christian Wood gives the Clippers a center upgrade. Here's the deal. Christian Wood and Daniel House in exchange for Keon Johnson, Ivica Zubac, Luke Kennard, and what is that, 4 second-round picks? So yeah, 4 second-round picks plus Keon Johnson. So that's really where the value is coming from, right? Luke Kennard, it's debatable how much value he has on the contract he's currently on. Zubac is a nice player, but does he really move the needle in a trade like this? Who knows? Do the Rockets even want him? And Keon Johnson is really where the value is coming from. He was drafted, I think, like 20th overall in the draft this past year, so he hasn't even played in the NBA yet. But maybe if the Rockets want a guy, super athletic young guy to add to their young core, can throw him in with all their other, draft picks. They had 4 first-round picks last year, so throw him in with their young core and continue to move forward. If I'm the Rockets, I don't know if I do this. I don't think they're looking to trade Christian Wood right now. I think a lot of people are going to be tempted to put together a Christian Wood trade, try to get him to a different team, considering he is, he played really well last year for the Rockets, and the Rockets just aren't that good. So, and he's on a really cheap contract as well. So, he's pretty easy to trade that way. So I think a lot of teams are going to be calling about Christian Wood. I think it's going to take a lot for the Rockets to give him up, and I just don't know if 4 second-round picks is going to entice them all that much. And Keon Johnson's fine, but it depends on how high the Rockets are on him, and I'm not sure how they value him as a player. I don't want to, just gloss over the Daniel House thing, because I also think he's a valuable player. Daniel House here, I think that he can still contribute to a contender. He played really, a nice role for the Rockets over the past couple of years. So I think he's a key piece of this as well. And for me, if I'm the Rockets, I just don't think that's quite enough value for Christian Wood. I think you could probably get more for him if you waited on that deal. So that's my initial thought on that one. Moving on down here, we have a Kristaps Porzingis trade going to the Kings, effectively. Here's the deal. Kristaps Porzingis and Dorian Finney-Smith in exchange for Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, and a second-round pick via the Hawks. I don't love this one for Dallas, I think. I know Porzingis' value has fallen quite a bit, but Marvin Bagley to me is nothing at this point. I just don't feel like his NBA career is going to pan out. Maybe he ends up being a role player, but clearly he's not, a second overall pick like he was a couple of years ago. So Bagley to me doesn't have a lot of value. Buddy Hield is fine, but I'm not sure that the Mavericks should be all that interested in him. I guess you always need more shooting, and he could really fit on any roster, but I don't know how I feel about that there. And then the second round pick is really not much at all. You're also giving up Dorian Finney-Smith, who is good defensively and a nice rotation wing for you. So I don't know that I love this one for Dallas. I think for Sacramento, I'd probably do this deal, given that you're wanting to trade Buddy Hield anyway. You get to gamble on Porzingis. Hopefully he's healthy. He's a little bit younger. Maybe he figures it out in a different situation, because he was so good with the Knicks, right? We know what he's capable of doing. He just hasn't really done it with Dallas. So maybe he can figure it out. And if you're Sacramento, you're gambling on that. Like I said, they're probably going to want to trade Buddy Hield anyway, given that they almost dealt into the Lakers. And you're not really giving up much here, in my opinion. I think Bagley is a guy that you just want to get rid of at this point, and the second round pick is really nothing. So I do this if I'm Sacramento. Dallas, I would probably hesitate a little bit on that. Okay, we have a Thaddeus Young trade and a 3-team deal involving the Suns. So Phoenix Suns get Thaddeus Young. The Spurs receive Davis Bertans and Jalen Smith. So Bertans going back to the Spurs. And the Wizards receive Tre Jones and Dario Saric. So let's break this down. The Suns are giving up Jalen Smith and Dario Saric for Thaddeus Young. Effectively, well, Dario is not going to play this year. He had a torn ACL in the finals, and so he is most likely not going to play at all in the NBA this season. And then Jalen Smith was a top 10 pick last year, but didn't really play at all his rookie year. He is potentially slated for a bigger role this season and moving forward. So we'll see on him, but I don't hate this for Phoenix. Thaddeus Young was really, really good for the Bulls, last year, and he's a veteran who knows what to do, and I think the Suns could use a guy like him. A guy who can potentially, like an athletic, 4 or 5 stretch big type of guy who can score and has that nice veteran leadership as well. So I like this trade for Phoenix, actually. San Antonio getting Bertans back and Jalen Smith. You're giving up on Tre Jones and Thaddeus Young. I like this one for San Antonio also. I think they didn't even want to trade Bertans in the first place. If you remember, they only traded him to clear cap space to sign Marcus Morris, and then Marcus Morris ended up backing out of that deal and signing with the Knicks instead. So that's the only reason they traded Bertans to begin with. They get him back here. I know the contract is long, and it's not, exactly what you want, on your books for a longer time. But Bertans can shoot, and he had a down year with Washington. I think he's poised to potentially bounce back a little bit this season, just given that the shooting numbers weren't great last year, but I think he has the capability of bouncing back. It was just kind of a weird season for him. And then getting Jalen Smith, a guy who was, like I said, top 10 overall pick just last season, and still has quite a bit of potential. It sucks to give up on Tre Jones because he's a young guy that I'm actually quite high on, and I thought he played well in Summer League. I know he was a second-round pick, so there's not a ton of value with him, but I would try not to give him up in this deal if I could. And Thaddeus Young can help you, but if you're the Spurs, I think you're more leaning towards a youth movement anyway. So I like this trade for San Antonio as well, I think. And then for Washington, you're getting rid of the Bertans contract, bringing in Saric, who I think has 2 years left on his deal, and it's cheaper, so you're not paying nearly as much for that. And then Tre Jones, like I said, he was a second-round pick and is on a rookie contract right now. So Tre Jones, I really like bringing him in. Like I said, I think he has a lot of potential as a young guy, even as a second-round pick guy in the 40s. I still, like him quite a bit, so I like that addition for Washington there. And then Dario, like I said, not going to play this year, but potentially, if he's healthy for the following season, then he can be a piece for you and maybe a trade chip as an expiring contract that year. So honestly, I like this trade for all 3 teams. I don't know if this one actually happens. I think probably the Spurs are the ones who are getting the short end of the stick here if I'm San Antonio. I like this the least for me because I'm taking on the Bertans money and giving up 2 players that I really like. Jalen Smith is fine, but I'm not super high on him. So maybe San Antonio says no to this. If I'm Phoenix, I probably do it. Depends on how they feel about Jalen Smith. And then if I'm Washington, I'm spamming the accept button. I think this is a great deal for Washington there. So that's my thoughts on the 3-team trade involving Thaddeus Young. Right here we have a 1-for-1 swap. This is very interesting. They say Tobias Harris and CJ McCollum straight up, 1-for-1, no picks, no other players involved, just Tobias Harris for CJ. And how do I feel about this one? I don't know. This is very interesting. I think Philly comes out the winner in this one, in my opinion. I think CJ McCollum is what the Sixers need. They need a more, ball handling guard who can score. That fits, I think that fits better next to Embiid and Ben Simmons than Tobias Harris does. Now, this is of course pending a Ben Simmons trade because we assume that Ben Simmons is going to be traded at some point. I think this move is more assuming that Simmons is going to end up staying on the Sixers roster somehow. If for whatever reason you can convince Ben Simmons to stay and you have him and Embiid going into next season, I would definitely do this trade if I'm Philly, because I just think CJ is a better fit next to those two. Simply put, I just think he fits better. And I think that one that makes more sense there for team construction. So I would do this if I'm the Sixers. For the Blazers, I know they need to shake things up to try to keep Dame happy, although I just don't know if this quite does it for them, to be honest. I know that Dame and CJ are friends, and I understand that Dame, wants there to be a trade, you know, to shake up this roster and try to do something. But just flipping McCollum for Tobias Harris, who is a player, you know, on a similar level to him, albeit he plays a different position. I don't know if that really moves the needle in terms of keeping Damian Lillard happy. In terms of on the court, I think this probably helps them. CJ's really good, and I think he's underrated, but Tobias Harris being able to, you know, space the floor for them, he's a scorer at all three levels at the power forward position, which is something the Blazers have been lacking. You know, they've been lacking a dynamic big guy that's able to score for them over the past couple of years. So I think Tobias Harris would help this team. I think it probably helps them defensively, given that they wouldn't be so undersized in the backcourt anymore, and you could just slide Norman Powell in at that 2-guard spot and then have, you know, a bigger guy playing the 3 and then Tobias Harris at the 4, so on. So I think it helps them defensively, and offensively, maybe they're not quite as potent, but I think they have more variety in their team. So I would probably do this if I'm both teams. Honestly, I doubt that this happens just because, you know, the Sixers are so wrapped up in the Ben Simmons stuff right now, and one-for-one trades like this are very, very rare. Usually one team feels like they, you know, need some more value to be enticed to do this. So I really doubt that this happens, but it's definitely an interesting one for sure to think about. So here we have the last one here, the obligatory Ben Simmons deal. Of course, this is in this compilation here. So we have you know, to the Atlanta Hawks, which is interesting because they're kind of the team that, you know, ended the whole Ben Simmons and Philly thing in the first place. So here's the trade: Ben Simmons to the Hawks in exchange for Cam Reddish, Kevin Huerter, Danilo Gallinari. So my initial reaction to this is, where's the value coming from for the Sixers? I think the Sixers, you know, Daryl Morey, we know, has been asking for a lot of picks, a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of stuff back in any trade, right? They're wanting, you know, multiple first-round picks, pick swaps, young players, whatever they can get their hands on. Now, Daryl Morey is not going to get the insane package on the level of what he's been asking for, right? We know we've heard all the rumor of what he asked for from the Warriors, being, you know, James Wiseman, both picks 7 and 14, and like 4 future first-round picks, and Andrew Wiggins, and Jordan Poole, and, you know, all this stuff, right? They asked for a ton, and this package is nowhere near the level of that. Right, the Hawks are not giving up any picks here. The value is coming from Cam Reddish and Kevin Huerter and Gallinari, who's a veteran and on a manageable contract. How much value does that have to the Sixers? Who knows, right? So if I'm Philly, this would have to be pretty far down on my list in terms of trades. They would have to be really desperate in order to do this one, given that I just think they value Ben Simmons much higher than what this trade would suggest. So I would not do this if I'm Philly. I think you can probably end up getting more for him. I know the entire NBA community is split on how much value Ben Simmons has right now. In my opinion, it's more than this in this trade. So I would not do this if I'm Philly. Cam Reddish and Kevin Huerter are both fine. They're both young players. Huerter, you know, had a really nice postseason run. Cam Reddish had his moments, and he still has a ton of potential. And Gallinari can help them right now, right? The Sixers are looking for guys to be able to help them in their quest for a title, you know, in the immediate future, because Joel Embiid is an MVP candidate right now. So they're looking for guys who can help them. Gallinari can. Kevin Huerter can. Cam Reddish, you know, maybe he's better next year, or has a ton of potential and ends up being really good in a couple of years. Who knows, right? But I just don't know if this is quite enough value for the Sixers to be able to do this one. If I'm Atlanta, I do this trade instantly. Honestly, I think Ben Simmons is a good fit with Trae Young and the rest of the, you know, the players on this roster. He can really plug and play any position because they're going to have John Collins at the power forward. So maybe you play Ben Simmons at the 3. I don't know. You'd have to figure out exactly what you want to do. But I do this trade if I'm Atlanta. If I'm Philly, I'm probably saying no to this one because I feel like you can probably get more in a Ben Simmons deal. But yeah, that's it. So that's all I have on this this Bleacher Report article. Like I said at the top, don't forget to subscribe, and let me know if you like this video format. If you want me to review more Bleacher Report articles, there's plenty to go, you know, to go and view, and they're posting every day. So there's plenty of content over there. So yeah, let me know if you want me to take a look at more Bleacher Report stuff down below. Let me know what you think about some of these trade ideas. Would love to hear your thoughts on them. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.